My parents announced a brutal competition where only one child would inherit everything and the rest would be cut off, so I reported them to CPS. When I was 16, my parents gathered us in the living room for what they called a family restructuring. Dad stood by the fireplace holding a leather binder like he was about to present quarterly earnings. Mom had her laptop open with what looked like a color-coded spreadsheet. They explained that raising 4 children was inefficient resource allocation, so they'd created a ranking system. Academic performance would count for 35%, extracurriculars for 30%, household contributions for 15%, and something called character metrics for 20% completely subjective evaluations Mom would track in her journal. Every month, we'd receive updated scores. At 18, whoever ranked first would get everything. Full college tuition, the inheritance, their continued support. The rest of us would be financially cut off and removed from the family, permanently. My older sister Emma was 18 and immediately understood the stakes. Within a week, she'd joined every club that would take her. She started waking up at 5 a.m. to clean the kitchen before anyone else could claim those contribution points. She stopped seeing her boyfriend because it took time away from building her resume. She transformed into this artificial version of herself, always smiling, always helpful, always performing. My twin brother Marcus took it differently. He was naturally more artistic, better at music and drawing than math and science, but those things didn't score well in Mom's system. So he abandoned everything he loved and started grinding. Stopped eating lunch to save money for SAT prep books since our allowances now matched our rankings. Stayed up until 2 a.m. doing extra credit he didn't need just to close the gap. My younger brother Tyler was only 14 and couldn't compete with kids who were older and more developed. He started wetting the bed again, something he hadn't done since he was 7. His grades dropped from B's to D's because he'd calculated that even perfect scores wouldn't let him catch up, so why bother trying? Mom put the monthly rankings on the refrigerator where we'd see them every day. Emma's name in green at the top, mine in blue, Marcus in yellow, Tyler in red at the bottom. That hierarchy changed everything between us. We stopped helping each other, started viewing each other as obstacles. The character metrics became a weapon. Mom would dock points for things like having a messy room or showing a bad attitude. Completely subjective calls she could use to manipulate the rankings however she wanted. When Marcus questioned whether the competition was fair, he lost 5 character points. When I forgot to take out the trash, I lost 3. 6 months in, Tyler stopped going to school entirely. He'd leave the house with his backpack and spend the day at the public library. Did this for 3 weeks before the day school called our parents. When they confronted him, he just said there was no point anymore. Nothing he did would matter. Mom dropped his score to 52, the lowest any of us had ever seen. The breaking point came on a Tuesday night. I went to Marcus's room to borrow a charger and found him sitting on his bed holding a bottle of Mom's sleeping pills. He'd already taken 5. The bottle was still in his hand and he was staring at it, deciding whether to take more. I grabbed the pills and shook him hard, asking what he was doing. He said he couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't wake up every day knowing he was going to fail. Couldn't spend 2 more years in a competition designed to destroy 3 out of 4 of us. I stayed in his room all night to make sure he didn't try anything else. In the morning, I went downstairs and told our parents what happened. Dad said Marcus was being manipulative, using suicide threats to gain sympathy. Mom docked him 10 character points for emotional instability. They didn't take him to a doctor, didn't get him a therapist, just punished him for breaking under the pressure they'd created. That's when I started documenting everything. I kept a notebook hidden in my closet where I recorded the monthly rankings, the arbitrary formula changes, every punishment disguised as motivation. I wrote down the dates Tyler stopped sleeping, when Emma developed an eating disorder, when Marcus stopped eating lunch. I needed proof that we weren't crazy, that this was as insane as it felt. 3 months later, I called CPS with a folder full of evidence. The caseworker, Patricia, arrived unannounced on a Thursday afternoon. She photographed the ranking charts on our fridge and interviewed each of us separately. My parents tried spinning it as tough love parenting, explaining they were just preparing us for real-world competition, but Patricia kept digging. She requested copies of Mom's scoring journals and Dad's financial planning documents. That's when she found Mom's master file on the computer, a detailed timeline showing that after Emma turned 22 and graduated college, they'd legally disown the rest of us. They'd already drafted the paperwork to remove 3 children from their will. When Patricia confronted them with that document in front of a family court mediator, my parents finally broke. They were ordered into mandatory family therapy, and the competition ended that day.